Hi, my name is Ashlyn and I'm from Brooklyn. Please like and subscribe. My twin sister Brooke and I were born to a single mother, and we were the prettiest set of twins with gorgeous blonde hair.
Oh dear, I've always wanted a daughter, but each time God gave me these good-for-nothing devils. How about you give me one of your girls?
Just then, I bit the woman on the hand and she ran for her life.
Broccoli, how many times have I told you not to be so violent?
And Brooke, Mommy, Ashlyn.
Mum was shocked because usually Brooke was the one with a nasty temper and I was the well-behaved child, but I just couldn't help it. People always tried to take us away because of our super long hair, which even Mum thought was going to make us super famous one day. But I wasn't very fond of the whole famous thing. I was a studious kid and I loved books. And Brooke was the polar opposite of me. Everyone at school was her friend, and she was head of the drama club with a huge fan following. In the 6th grade, I topped my grades, and Mum took us to a fun fair as a treat. But on our way, she bumped into a friend, and while I checked out the stalls, Brooke went on to buy some ice cream. But minutes later, I heard her scream. I ran to check, and some guy was fighting with her over the last piece of ice cream flavor they both wanted.
I was here first! Let go, you crazy witch!
Hey, leave my sister alone.
Give it to me now, or both of you will go home crying.
Suddenly, Brooke took the ice cream and shoved it into his face, and the guy went bonkers. He took out the biggest ball of gum I'd ever seen and shoved it straight into the back of Brooke's head. OMG! I kicked him in his knee and he fell into the pig pen in the petting zoo. Now, Brooke's head looked like a bird's nest, and Mum almost fainted when she saw Brooke. She immediately took her to the hairdresser, but even the hairdresser freaked out when she saw the giant mess.
There is no way we can remove this. We'll have to cut it all.
What? No! But since there was no other option, they gave Brooke a buzz cut, and she looked devastated the entire way home. I tried to cheer her up.
It's just hair, Brooke. It'll grow back in no time.
But she didn't say a word. And when we reached home, she ran up to her room and locked herself in. So I tried different ways to cheer her up. This time,
I baked your favorite cookies. Brooke, open up. I asked Mom to buy tickets for the BTS concert, and she agreed. I'm gonna be a mom, Brooke.
and that's when she finally opened up.
God, you're so dramatic. So are you. Could it be we're related?
Days later, when the school reopened for the new session, I made Brooke wear a wig. But since it was summer, Brooke kept scratching her head like crazy the entire time.
Oh God, please stay away from me. I think she has lice.
How dare you even say that? She does not have lice.
Right then, the boy sitting behind Brooke noticed her wig coming off and he pulled it off.
Oh God, she's a baldy.
Wow, we can finally tell Brooke and Ashlyn apart. The pretty-haired one is Ashlyn, and the bald one is Brooke.
All the kids burst out laughing and Brooke looked furious. She jumped on the kid who pulled her wig and grabbed his hair until he let out screams. The teacher pulled her away and was about to send her to the principal when I begged her to let it go. And thankfully, Brooke got away with a warning. But the next morning when Brooke came down, Mom and I were shocked.
Did you forget your wig, sweetie?
Everyone knows what I look like now, Mom, and it makes me itch.
Come on, honey. You wouldn't want to go out of the house looking like an egg.
Mom, I think you look cool. Brooke.
Whatever, I don't need your approval.
Huh? What was that about?
At school, I warned all the kids to not mess with my sister, but it seems like Brooke didn't care about it anyway. And then one time I was in the school's hallway when Brooke's drama club members came up to me.
Ashlyn, Brooke left the club, but we really need a pretty girl lead for the play. Can you take the role? Please, please.
They kept begging me to replace Brooke and didn't leave until I said yes. But just then, a boy walked past me and I dropped all my books.
Hey, watch it, dude.
But when he turned around, I was shocked to see it was Brooke.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I didn't see it was you.
Yeah, that's the thing, Ash.
Saying that she just turned around angrily and walked away. And I felt so stupid for not recognizing her. After that day, something changed in Brooke, and she started to talk to me less and less, and Mum only made things worse. Every time we'd go out, she'd made Brooke wear a captain. A few weeks later, when we got home from school, Mom was screaming with joy.
Oh, honey, I have great news. Some weeks back, I had sent Brooke's photos to a company that was looking for a new model. And guess what? They selected her.
For the first time in ages, I saw a huge smile on Brooke's face. And then Mom said,
But now Ashlyn will have to play the part.
What are you saying, Mom?
Mom told us that the company wanted to use a model for their new hair products. And since Brooke had lost her hair, my natural hip-length blonde hair made me perfect for the part. Just then, Brooke took a vase on the table and smashed it to the ground.
How can you do this to me? Those were my pictures. I was the one who got selected. She cannot take my place.
But what can we do if your hair won't grow back? It's been like that for months now, and God knows if it's ever gonna grow back.
Listening to Mom's words, Brooke ran to her room crying, and I told Mom I was not going to do it.
Oh, Ash, I wish I'd never have to tell you this, but things are really tough at work for me right now. They might even fire me, and I'm so worried about how I'm going to take care of my girls.
Seeing Mom so stressed, I had to say yes to the offer. But now Brooke was super mad at me, especially after Mom took her to the doctor and we discovered that her hair growth rate had slowed down drastically. For some reason, that's why her hair was taking so long to grow back. Later that night, when I was sleeping, I felt someone pulling my hair, and when I opened my eyes, I saw it was Brooke trying to cut it off.
OMG, Brooke, are you crazy?
Yeah, I'm crazy. And now I'm going to turn you into me.
Luckily, Mom came in just then and pulled her away. She scolded Brooke real hard, and after that day, Brooke stopped talking to me. The next week, Mom took me to the audition, and when I got the part, we had to fly to Los Angeles for the whole year, but Brooke was not happy about moving at all.
I don't understand why we have to leave everything behind just because of her.
Why can't you be happy for your sister? Brooke, this is a huge deal. And honestly, it's not like you have a lot of friends here. You could use a fresh start too.
Despite Brooke's protests, we moved to LA. The campaign I did became a huge success in no time, and my ads were everywhere, on buses, on billboards, and on TV. By the time I turned 15, I had a huge portfolio of modeling work, and Mom had become my manager, and she decided to enroll me into a private school.
Honey, you're a celebrity now. Your safety and education has to come first.
I was more than excited to finally have proper schooling after all these years of modeling. And I asked Mum to enroll Brooke with me too. But as soon as we entered our new school, kids came running at me to take autographs and selfies, and they'd follow me everywhere I go, and I just hated it. But there was someone who loved seeing me so miserable. Brooke. Over the years, I tried to include her in everything I did. I would even get designer dresses for her to join me on the red carpet, but she'd just toss them away in the trash.
What is wrong with you, Brooke? I got the dress specially made for you.
I don't need your charity, Ash. Especially when everything you are right now is because of me.
I hated the bitterness Brooke had in her heart for me, and I wished I could just remove that.
Don't you worry about her, sweetheart. You have no time for her jealousy. You just focus on your work.
Time went by, and Brooke grew confident in her own look and joined a local modeling agency. And I decided I was going to leave the world of fame and finally focus on my studies. But the same day, Mum told me that I'd been cast as the lead for a huge movie.
But Mom, I told you I didn't.
Oh, honey, this is the last time, I promise. It's just that I made an agreement, and now if you say no, we'll have to pay a huge sum of money cancelling it.
Okay, but it's the last time.
A few days later, we had the announcement party for the movie, and Mum was taking me shopping for it when a card fell from her bag. It was an invitation card for Brooke's first play at the theatre, where she was playing the lead role.
Mom, we should definitely go to Cheerbrooke. This will mean so much to her.
It's the same day as the announcement party of your movie, and that's more important.
But I totally disagreed. I left Mom at the movie party and slipped off to see Brooke's performance, and she was awesome. I didn't find her in the dressing room, but I left flowers for her and left. My movie started shooting soon after, and I was a bit starstruck when I met the male lead actor, Tom. He was a super famous movie star at the age of just 20, and he had a huge fan following. But he was really nice and instantly made me comfortable. And over the course of the shooting, we became really good friends. On my 18th birthday, Tom even surprised me with a cake and congratulated me. But just then, I noticed Brooke outside my dressing room. I stepped out to see her, but she was already gone. And then I didn't see her the entire day. But the next morning, I woke up to the worst nightmare of an actor. My phone was buzzing like crazy, and pictures of me hugging Tom. And rumors of our link up were all over the news. But there was no way anyone from the set could have leaked those pictures. And that's when I remembered seeing Brooke on the set the day before. Holy freaks! I couldn't believe she'd stooped so low. Later, when I came out of the house, there were paparazzi everywhere, and I had to disguise myself to go for the shoot. When I reached the set, we were about to start shooting when Tom's girlfriend came on set and threw the newspapers in my face.
You homewrecker! How dare you try to steal my boyfriend, you ugly-faced lizard!
I didn't steal anyone. It's all fake news.
Babe, can you please calm down?
But she didn't calm down and tried to attack me. Just then, Brooke came from behind and dumped a slushie on that witch's head. And security pulled her away for trying to create chaos on the set.
Brooke, what are you doing here after ruining my reputation?
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, stop it. I saw you at the set yesterday. And I know you're the one who sent my pictures with Tom to the media.
Have you completely lost it? I wasn't the one who did it. It was Mom.
What? The freaking Funyuns.
Mom was the one who sent your pictures to the media. I heard her talking on the phone this morning. That's what I just came here to tell you.
But I saw you on the set last night.
'Cause it was our birthday, dummy. You came to see my play even when you had a huge movie party. And it meant a lot to me. So I thought I'd repay the favor by visiting you. But as soon as I reached here, I received an important call and I had to go back.
But that wasn't all. Brooke told me she had doubts that Mum had been up to no good. And when we investigated it, we found out that Mum had been stealing from me and filling her bank accounts. Holy freak. She was a blood-sucking mosquito. The next day, Mum came screaming with joy at us.
I've got the best news, Ash. I signed you up for 3 more movies, and we're gonna be super rich now.
So that's why you sent my pictures to the media.
What? Who told you that? And even if I did, look at the bright stars. Beside all that publicity and dating rumors with the superstar, have got you 3 more movies.
But you sold your own daughter for money.
Shut up, Brooke!
Enough, Mom. We are not kids anymore whom you can manipulate so easily.
Yeah, you broke our trust and stole from your own child. You're the worst lying butt manipulator that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh no, don't say that, Ash. I did everything for you guys.
You're a liar, Mom. You did everything for yourself. And that's why I've canceled all your contracts and removed you from my manager's position.
No, you can't do that!
Guess what? We already did.
Suddenly, Mum completely lost it and tried to attack me. But thankfully, Brooke had called security and the cops and they took her away.
I'm so sorry, Ash. I always thought you were a bad person and always blamed you for everything. But Mom was the real devil and played with us as she wished.
It's all right, Brooke. You have nothing to apologize for. But yeah, I don't think I can continue to shoot this stupid movie. How about you take my place in it?
Really? You mean it?
Of course.
Hello everyone, my name is Brew and this is my story. Before I continue, please like and subscribe to my channel. I was brought up by a single dad who worked very hard to give me a good life. We didn't have much, but Dad and I had each other and it was enough.
Always work hard and success will follow. Got that, little birdie?
I'll say yes if you buy me ice cream.
Dad and I were close and we would talk about everything under the sun. Well, everything except Mom. Every time I tried asking Dad about Mom, he would avoid the topic like the plague. And eventually I stopped asking. Growing up, I fell in love with music dream to become a singer. And at 19, my dream finally came true when I got an invitation to audition for a famous all-girls group, the Masked Minx. These girls were super famous, but no one knew what they looked like because they always performed with a mask on. I was pretty excited, but the only thing was to convince Dad.
But I've never been away from you, and you're too young to travel alone. What if you get in some trouble?
Then come with me.
I wish I could, but I have a work trip coming up.
I just know if I had a mom, it would be easier for both of us. You could take me on this trip and you could go to work. Dad, well, I guess I am that unlucky. No, Mom, no trip sucks. But I know you're doing your best.
Hey, we're very lucky to have each other. I guess I can make some time and take you. But you have to promise that you'll quit bringing up these stories of your mom.
I promise.
And just like that, Dad and I were on a plane to London. The band had arranged for us to fly first class. And when we finally arrived, I was excited to be welcomed at the airport by a personal chauffeur. Soon after, we reached the hotel where we were staying, and it was also the venue for the auditions. I hugged my dad and entered the audition room, but it was empty. Just then, someone tapped on my shoulder. I turned around and almost passed out. It was a girl, and she had the exact same face as mine, only more polished and prettier.
Okay, I know that we have at least 7 people who look exactly like you, but dude, this is beyond freaky. Who are you?
Firstly, please don't touch me. I hate being touched. Too many germs. And secondly, I am Ava, and I'm your twin sister.
My what?
Ava went on to tell me about how we were twins, and that our parents separated shortly after we were born. She was raised by our mom while Dad stayed back in America with me. She was a singer too, but recently she discovered that she had laryngitis and her singing career was basically over.
I was the one who sent you the mail and called you here. I have a very important tour coming up, and since I can't sing, I need you to take my place. You'll get a lot of money, and I won't lose my contracts. If you do a good job, maybe I can get my friend in the USA to sign you for his record label.
Okay, slow down. Can we take a step back? You're one of the masked minks and you want me to sing for you?
That's right.
Are you crazy? I just found out I have a twin sister and my head is already spinning, and I'm so close to having a panic attack. Ooh, 1 second. Even if in some parallel reality this whole thing was true, I would still have to tell my dad about you.
Your dad? I mean, our dad can't know that we've met. I do not want him to get suspicious. Mom has always told me how dad has hated her all her life. And now I don't want him to take you away. Please, Rue, help me!
How do I even know you're my sister?
Ava showed me a copy of my birth certificate and a few pictures of us together as babies, but I couldn't trust her. So before I agreed, I placed a condition.
I'll agree if you make me meet Mom.
Deal!
Dad was waiting for me in the hotel lobby. I felt so angry by looking at his face. How could he hide such a big truth from me? I wanted to confront Dad, but I also wanted to meet Mom, so I decided to stay quiet and go with the flow. I went back to my room and dozed off. And hours later, I was woken up by a frantic call from Ava.
I need to see you now. Come to the lobby and I'm sending a car.
I got dressed urgently and did as Ava asked. We met at a restaurant where Ava walked in with the most gorgeous guy on her arm. She introduced him as Jason, her boyfriend, and I just couldn't stop staring at how perfect he was.
I need you to convince Dad to pay $100,000 to my manager.
Yeah, he's very cute.
Wait, sorry, what?
I need money. And I promise you will get back much more money when I get you signed on at my friend's record label.
Why do you need so much money suddenly?
To make arrangements for my tour. Why else? Mom spent all the money I made on my treatment and I have no savings left. Please. If you do this, I will take you to see Mom. I promise.
I was a little taken aback, but I wanted to see my mom so desperately, so I agreed to help Ava out. But Dad would never let go of such a huge amount, so my only other option was Grandpa. He owned several big shopping malls all over the country, and he always told me that I could ask for anything. I called my grandpa and explained the situation to him. He was so happy that I finally met my twin. He apologized for not telling me all this time and promised to help with the money. The next day, Ava let me practice with her background singers and dancers, and I got such a rush out of it. She even let me sign some autographs for her fans on her behalf. I loved being in the spotlight. After the practice, Ava and I were on our way back when I asked her if I could meet Mom.
Not yet. Mom just had a minor heart attack last month, and seeing you might put her into shock, so we need to wait. Meanwhile, could you be a doll and get me some more money?
Why? I've already spent enough. Ava, I need to see Mom now, or I will call off the deal.
I asked the driver to stop the car and walked out feeling confused and angry. I wanted to cry because I had just lost my grandpa his $100,000 and I still hadn't seen my mom. I was outside the hotel when suddenly someone yanked at my arm. Jason.
What do you think you're doing?
Listen to me carefully, Rue. You have to get out of here. Ava and her mom are bad news. I heard Ava's mom talking about how they're going to drain your dad's finances. I think you're a really nice person, so please just tell your dad the truth and go back home.
And why should I trust you over my own family?
Because I know them. I've been with Ava long enough to know when she's lying, and her mother is no saint.
She's my mom too, and I think I'm old enough to know what's right and wrong. So thank you, but I'll take it from here.
Saying that, I turned around and left, but Jason's words kept ringing in my head. I couldn't sleep a wink that night, and the next morning, I decided to finally tell Dad everything, but he was nowhere to be found. So I went downstairs and saw him talking to a strange woman in the hotel lobby. I walked up to him, and when he saw me, he turned white.
What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same thing.
This is Claire, your mom. I am so sorry you had to find out like this. And I know you met your twin. Your grandpa called me after Claire called him demanding for $1 million. We will be heading home tomorrow. I was just saying goodbye.
So you're saying goodbye and I don't even deserve a hello. How is that fair?
Don't blame your dad, sweetie.
Don't call me sweetie. You know why I asked Ava to meet you? So I could stand in front of you and ask you how you could abandon your own child.
I could only afford to bring up one child, and I randomly picked Ava. Not that it was a good decision. She's pretty much useless now.
Your absolute disregard for humanity amazes me. And thank God I never got a chance to know you, or I would be the only kid in the world who hates their own mother.
I turned around and ran to my room. An hour later, Dad showed up and told me the whole truth about how Claire had been using the excuse of raising Ava alone to get money from both my dad and Grandpa. They kept it as a secret to protect me.
You could have told me the truth.
You would have gone behind her anyway, little birdie. I know you that much.
Dad and I left for home that night, but I couldn't go back without meeting Ava. So I asked her to meet me at the airport, and surprisingly, she showed up. I introduced her to Dad. He was so happy, and he hugged her and shed tears. Ava and I sat down and I told her about what Mom had said.
Mom didn't raise me. She gave me up at birth and I lived in an orphanage.
I only got back with her a few years back when someone from the orphanage told her about my singing talent, and since then, she's been trying to use me as a money-making machine. I hate her.
Then come with us. Dad and I would love to have you.
I would love to, but I can't. I still have so many debts to pay because of Claire.
I tried to convince Ava, but she refused. And soon after, Dad and I boarded the flight and left. Weeks passed, but I felt an empty pit in my stomach every time I thought about Ava. She was all alone, fighting my dragon of a mother, and I had to do something to help her. So I turned to Jason for help.
I told you, stay away from her. She and her mom are crooked.
My mom's using Ava? Please, Jason. She's my sister and your girlfriend. We have to help her out.
Okay, this might be a long shot, but what if we do a concert as Eva? It'll be like a face reveal tour. I know a few people who could help us. Find a band and we will use social media to spread the word and see where it goes.
And what if I'm not that good?
I've heard you sing, Rue. You'll be just fine.
We spoke to Ava and she was on board. Jason came down the next week and we spent days planning every second of the concert. Even my grandpa stepped in to give us a little money. Our posts on social media were very well received, and soon enough, almost all the tickets were sold out. Then one night I was grabbing coffee when I saw Jason at the same cafe, engrossed in a book that seems like a heavy read.
It's about kids who grew up in an orphanage. I was one of them.
I'm sorry, Jason. That must have been tough.
It was, but it made me who I am. And besides, I found a great family who loves me and adores me. You learn to find family in unexpected places.
Our conversation flowed from there. We talked about our pasts, our dreams, our fears. I shared about the loneliness I felt growing up without a mother, and he spoke of the challenges of growing up without a family at all. I'd never connected with anyone like this before, and it was truly amazing. One night before the performance, I was nervously checking out the stage when Jason slid his hand inside mine. I just hope it works.
I'm sure it will. And Drew, it's amazing what you're doing for Ava. Not everyone has this kind of heart.
Not everyone gets a second chance with their families either. Trust me, I'm doing this for myself.
Jason came forward, gently stroked my cheeks, and I felt my face on fire. And before I could react, he leaned in and kissed me, but I pushed him away.
This is not right. You're with Ava.
No, I'm not. Ava and I were just dating for the public. Trust me, we mean nothing to each other.
She's still my sister, and you and I have to respect that.
I walked away from Jason knowing I really wanted the kiss, but family is more important. So I decided to put my feelings aside and concentrate on the bigger picture. The next night was the concert, and it was a huge hit. We collected a lot of money, and when Ava found out, she was beyond happy. That night, I slept with the best feeling ever. But the next morning, my dad shook me awake, and then he told me the most shocking news of my life. Apparently, Ava had turned down my offer to move in with me and Dad, and instead, she slapped me with a legal notice for impersonating her without her permission. The only way she would take her complaint back was if my dad agreed to pay her $10 million. I feel so stupid for wanting to help her.
It's not your fault. I guess she's just more like your mom than you thought.
I could not stop crying, because I knew this was going to make me and Dad so poor. I had to come up with a solution before we ended up homeless. So, I decided to approach Ava, but my calls and messages went unanswered. I was running out of options when a couple of days later, Ava showed up at my front door, along with Jason.
What are you doing here?
I ran away. I'm finally free.
Free to do what? Brand me as a liar? I tried to help you, and you threatened to sue me.
It wasn't me. It was all Claire's idea.
Apparently, Claire had taken all of Ava's phones, and she was the one who had sent the notice in Ava's name.
I'd gone back home to talk to Ava in person, but she was missing.
I tried to tell her how wrong this was, but she just locked me up. But somehow I ran away and hid at my friend's place till Jason found me. I'm so sorry, Rue.
It's okay. All that matters is that now you're here and you're safe.
I hugged Ava tight, and the two of us told Dad everything. He got the best lawyers. And with Ava's testimony, Claire landed in jail for exploiting a minor against her will and cheating Dad out of his money. She just called the house one day and begged me to take her back as our mom.
I made a mistake. Please forgive me. I'm your mother. You can't send me to jail.
Oh, yes, we can. Just like you sent Ava to an orphanage. And just like you abandoned me and my father, now it's time for payback. And you're gonna get yours.
Dang right you will.
Soon after Mom went to jail, Ava and I decided to share our story with the world, and it was very well received. We became famous and even launched our music careers. I sang and Ava played the piano. One day, as we were done performing, Ava hugged me tight and whispered in my ear,
Jason's here to see you. Don't worry. He told me everything about how you both are pigeon heads and were ready to sacrifice your love for me.
So you don't have a problem?
No, dummy. I never loved him the way you do. Go on. He's all yours.
I was so happy, I rushed backstage and saw Jason waiting for me. Without thinking, I threw my arms around him and pulled him in.
I know too much has happened, but I'm ready to move on if you are.
I'm 10 steps ahead of you, babe.
I learned that sometimes the people related to you can hurt you the most, and you always have to be ready for anything.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly when my parents knew that I was special. It could be when I said my first word at 5 months old, when I started reading by the time I was 3, or when I solved a Rubik's Cube at 4 in less than 30 seconds. Hi, I'm Lisa. And none of that is to brag, by the way, because being a genius has brought me more misery than I would wish on my worst enemy. Yeah, I actually have a worst enemy, and you're about to find out who she is. But first, please like and subscribe. My father was a famous actor who starred in a ton of action movies. He fell in love with my mother, a jewelry designer. She designed the engagement ring he intended to give to another woman. But he broke off that relationship to be with my mother. I know. Messed up, right? When I was 5, I was being dragged around the world to movie sets where my father would show me off like some freak Einstein circus monkey.
Daddy, I need to pee.
You can only go after you tell everyone who the 5th, 16th, 25th, and 40th presidents were.
Come on, Paul. Lisa really needs to go.
She can go as soon as she answers the question.
James Monroe, Abraham Lincoln, William McKinley,
And then I peed. The entire movie's cast and crew burst out laughing, and I was completely humiliated. My mother finally had enough and divorced him, taking me back to her hometown. I would love to say things got better there, but believe it or not, they only got worse. Like a lot worse. My mom opened a jewelry store which took up all of her time. So she got me a nanny who had a daughter named Scarlett. Scarlett was 4 years older than me and was really dumb. Just to give you an idea of how dumb she was, when her mom told her that carrots helped her see in the dark, she went outside at night and tried to use one as a flashlight. Scarlett didn't like that I was so much smarter than her, so her favorite activity was torturing me, like hanging me out the window by my ankles, filling my pillowcase with spiders, and replacing my cereal with dog treats.
How's your cereal, Lisa? Maybe afterward we can go play fetch.
Except I knew what my cereal looked like and switched our bowls when she wasn't looking. My mom put me in kindergarten, but it was way too easy for me. While the other kids were playing with finger paint, I was doing math equations. As much as I hated being in school, I hated being home more because of Scarlett. I tried to tell my mom, but Scarlett had a secret.
But Mommy, I hate her. She tried to put my book in the toilet.
Scarlett, is that true? The one thing that Scarlett was good at, besides bullying, was acting.
Never. It really hurts my feelings when Lisa says these things.
Scarlett could cry on command. I mean, like a full-on sobbing.
Mom, she's...
But I couldn't even finish my sentence before my mom was comforting Scarlett.
There. It's okay. No matter what happened, I'm sure you two can work it out, right?
And then Scarlett ran and hugged me.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm going to work. See you two besties tonight.
And the second my mom was gone, my book was in the toilet. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. The school's principal skipped me to the 3rd grade. Guess with who? You've got it. Freaking Scarlett. Yeah, she was left back a year because, as we already established, was really dumb. When I got to high school, I was too old to have a nanny. So my mom hired Scarlett's mother to help her run her jewelry store and let them stay in our house because she felt like they were family now. At school, Scarlett would play awful pranks on me, like putting laxatives in my lunch or filling my hand sanitizer with super sticky glue. One night, I sat out in the backyard crying. I just wanted to be normal and with kids my own age. Then through the guest house window, I saw something unbelievable. Scarlett was watching Mean Girls and acting out the part.
They say you're a homeschooled jungle freak who's a less hot version of me.
She was actually really good, but then she turned and looked right at me. Oh no! I sprinted back to my room. I was up all night, terrified about what Scarlett was going to do to me. The next day at school, Scarlett just stared non-stop at me. As soon as the bell rang, I sprinted out of the classroom and hid in a janitor's closet.
This is my closet. Go find your own.
I nearly jumped out of my skin. I turned on the light to find a boy sitting in a chair with his feet up on the wall. His hair was long and messy, his clothes were too big, and he had like 20 earrings. He was Wesley, the school weirdo. The rumor was that his family was homeless. I can't leave.
Yeah. Scarlett, right?
Yeah, I think she may actually kill me.
Sad girl, just like my sister Alice.
Your sister?
Yeah, believe it or not, Alice makes Scarlett look like an angel.
That's horrible. Wait, why are you in here?
It's my place to get away from everyone. I hate drama.
Wow, I totally get it. People are so...
Petty, judgmental, mean.
Yes, I'm Lisa, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm a pretty good observer.
Just with that, Wesley and I became best friends. I felt like a total jerk. I always thought he was just a weirdo, but he was the first person who actually understood me. For the next few weeks, Wesley and I spent more and more time together at school, away from Scarlett. Wesley knew every hiding place in the school, under the stairs, in the attic. There was even an old, broken service elevator. I had no idea. For a while, things were looking up. And then one night, something incredible happened. I received a letter from one of the top universities in the country. They wanted me to attend next year and were scheduling an interview at my house. I would finally be rid of Scarlett for good. I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. I wanted to celebrate, but Wesley would never meet me outside of school. There was always an excuse, but this time I wasn't taking no for an answer. I tracked down his address online and went there. I figured we would pull up to a homeless shelter, but we turned into the driveway of the biggest mansion I had ever seen. I rang the bell, and this really pretty girl with perfect makeup opened the door.
Whatever you're selling, we don't want any.
Oh, I'm not selling anything. I'm here to see Wesley. Does he live here?
Hey, loser. Someone is actually here to see you. What do you want with my loser brother?
Oh, you're Alice, Wesley's demon sister.
Lisa, what are you doing here?
Hi.
Wow, Wesley is a real girl coming here to take you out. There must be something seriously wrong with her.
Leave us alone, Alice.
Wesley took me to his room, which was filled with books and other cool things. He even had a VR experience, and we got to dive in the deep sea with sharks, whales, and all kinds of marine animals. It was so cool. But just as we were about to approach a giant squid, suddenly, a wave of water drenched us from top to bottom. We took off our visors and there was Alice, holding a huge bucket of water and laughing her head off.
Alice, what the heck?
Only improving your immersive experience. You're welcome, guys.
Before we could respond, Alice had already vanished, and Wesley's RV was ruined. As we dried off in the bathroom, I looked at Wesley angrily. How can Scarlett and Alice be so hateful? What is wrong with them?
Alice and I were close when we were kids, but then my mom forced her into beauty pageants and would always criticize her when she lost. It changed her, and now she's like this.
Like Alice alone wasn't enough. Scarlett hadn't forgotten about me spying on her. She was like a snake, just waiting for the right opportunity to strike. And on the morning of the big interview at my house, she found it.
Well, Lisa, we feel that you will be a perfect addition to our university, and it is my honor to offer you.
Oh, Lisa!
Just as the recruiter was about to make me the offer, Scarlett walked in. My entire body froze.
Oh, sorry. Is this a bad time? I'm Scarlett Lisa's bestie.
Hi, bestie. Can you please come back later?
I would, but I have my math test coming up and need that special you always give me with all the answers. I have the money. I swear.
She pays you to give her the answers to your tests.
That's not true. She's lying.
Okay, I think we're done here.
Please don't listen to her. I've never cheated in my life.
Me neither.
And that was the end of it. Scarlett won.
Did I scare your little college recruiter off? Oopsie.
I was so angry I just exploded. You are a horrible, horrible human being. In fact, I wouldn't even call you human. You are a monster.
The next morning, as I was going to my locker, a crowd was around someone. Wesley walked up to me, and he looked as depressed as I was.
Did you see we have a new student?
When the crowd cleared, I saw who our new student was. It was Alice.
She got expelled from her all-girls school, so my mother was able to bribe our school to take her in.
And then she saw me, and Wesley came over and turned to the crowd.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun here together. Now you can't avoid me.
Alice laughed like a true Disney villain and left with her new group of followers.
I guess I'll just have to wait for her to add this school to her expulsion collection.
You know what? No. I've had enough of these bullies. We are gonna fight back.
No, Lisa, just ignore them. We can't fight with them.
They are older, stronger, and meaner. But we are smarter. We are not gonna fight them ourselves, Wesley. We're gonna make them fight each other.
I'm listening.
We may not be able to change them, but we maybe can redirect their hate.
I told Wesley the rest of my plan, and he agreed to join. We were going to make our boys mortal enemies. First of all, we sent a little welcome to our school gift to Alice from Scarlett.
Oh my God, is this the new Givenchy?
It wasn't. Wesley simply took the empty bottle from her trash.
This is my favorite perfume.
But I guess you could call it perfume. It certainly had a memorable fragrance. Alice put it on and immediately realized it was not her favorite Givenchy.
Yuck! Ugh, this smells like skunk.
Actually, it was a nasty mix of fermented anchovies, spoiled cheese, and overripe cabbage. But yeah, just as bad as skunk. And even harder to get off. Exactly. At the same time, we printed a fake version of the school newspaper, which Alice had just begun to run. And in a very special edition, we crowned Scarlett as the champion of, well, everything on the worst list, from fashion disasters to bad hair days, makeup mishaps, terrible classmates, and and the worst student overall. You name it, she snagged the title. As soon as she saw it, Scarlett burst into flames and went in search of Alice. They met in the middle of the hallway. The tension was so intense that it felt like a dragon.
This is war!
And thus the war began. And believe me, they pulled out their heavy weapons. Their pranks were, let's say, pretty original. Alice kicked things off by spreading the rumor that Scarlett was really a 40-year-old divorcee posing as a teenager.
That doesn't make any sense.
Scarlett fired back bluntly and traditionally vandalizing Alice's Barbie car and brace for impact, painting it black.
No! That's not even a real color!
Alice carried out her revenge, following the old rules of the glitter warfare. She hid a glitter bomb in Scarlett's locker, and when she opened it, she turned the entire hallway into an impromptu disco party. It took Scarlett weeks to get all the glitter off her. And how could we forget the time that Scarlett locked Alice in the bath with a little mouse? Next level torture right there. Of course, like top-tier bullies, they occasionally ditched their sophisticated tactics for some classic down and dirty hand-to-hand combat. Yet the best part of my master plan was that they were good to us, even though it was just to infuriate the other. It's amazing what hate can lead to.
You're truly a genius.
I should be modest, but I can't. I am a genius. Our era of prosperity and peace incredibly lasted for a year. However, as usual, nothing good ever lasts. When it seemed that this beautiful war would continue for generations, Alice delivered a precise and lethal blow. Somehow she got her hands on a video of Scarlett performing in the toilet, just as I had seen her months before at home, in front of her. She made it viral. At school, Scarlett became a laughingstock. The war was over and Alice had won it. Lonely and the Queen Alice. Well, maybe they didn't cheer like that, but you guys get the point. When I got home, Scarlett was still crying, and the waterfalls didn't slow down for days. She even stopped going to school because she was so embarrassed I had finally beaten my bully. But surprisingly, I didn't feel great. On the contrary, I felt sorry for her and felt so very, very guilty. Not because she didn't have it coming. The feeling of being the one causing her tears felt horrible, even worse than when I was the one crying because of her evil deeds.
Go away!
I have something to tell you. After confessing all about my plan, I closed my eyes and waited for my punishment. I hope this is quick and painless. I waited a few seconds, but nothing happened. I opened my eyes and looked at Scarlett. Aren't you gonna murder me?
I should, but I kinda get why you did it. It's not fun at all to be on the receiving end.
No, it isn't.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know what it is. Don't make me say it.
Yeah, I know. Me too. For what it's worth, I think you have a real talent as an actress.
Do you think so?
Totally. You had my mom believing you were an innocent angel for years. Not even Zendaya could pull off a character like that.
Oh, thanks!
Then something unprecedented began taking place. Scarlett and I went in for a hug. However, just as we were about to make it happen.
Nope, that's too much. You did ruin my life.
And you ruined my future.
Call it even?
Sure. The following weeks were pretty good, actually. Scarlett called the college recruiter and explained everything. As thank you, I showed the tape of Scarlett acting to my dad, and he got a small role in his next movie. When word of that got around the school, Scarlett got no notice again, but this time for good. Even better, she became part of our little crew. Wesley, it's time you also stand up for yourself against your sister. By now, Alice had assembled an army of plastic girls and drooling boys that would do anything she said. And with no rival, Alice went back to making Wesley's life miserable. Until one day during lunch in the cafeteria, Alice walked up to Wesley and acted like she had stumbled, making all her food spill onto him. Wesley stood up and pulled out an old photo from his wallet and showed it to Alice.
See this picture, Alice? It's from when you won your first beauty pageant. Look how happy we both look here.
Yes, I look pretty, unlike your dorky face.
In a moment of frustration, Wesley tore the picture into pieces, shocking Alice.
How dare you!
I always missed your younger self, Alice, and I hoped you would go back to being my lovely sister. But I guess you chose to be a witch, and I'm done waiting or being patient.
Alice tried to push Wesley away, but he held her hand tightly and firmly.
You really thought you're stronger than me, Alice. I never touched you because I respected you as my big sister.
You're hurting me!
I'll hurt you more if you don't back off.
My friends are around me. Guys, you know what to do.
But just as Alice's friends were about to step in, Scarlett and I appeared from behind Wesley. And we know what to do too. The kids behind Alice began to look scared and uncertain while she stomped her feet in frustration.
Fine. You don't talk to me, and I won't talk to you.
Sounds good to me.
With that, Alice left and we all hugged, knowing we had finally stood up to the bullies.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth and I can't trust anyone, but I have a good reason for that. Want to know more? Like and subscribe to my channel. My dad was the most special person in my life. He made my own milkshakes and taught me ballet when I was 6 years old. He always said that I must know how to take care of myself, and I think he can do no wrong. Except a day after my 11th birthday, I woke up to Mom crying. What's wrong?
Your dad left.
Like, left to get some milk?
No, he left us. Look at this note. He'd been stressed for weeks at his job, and I thought he'd be okay, but I guess he wasn't. I tried calling him too, but he left his cell phone at home.
What? Dad can't leave me just like that. He tells me everything. I'm sure there are some mistakes. He must be around the corner. And I darted outside the house and started running around the neighborhood screaming for Dad, but he really wasn't around. Finally, Mom caught up to me and took me home, and I was a crying mess for days. We tried looking for Dad for weeks, but it was like he'd vanished into thin air. I was heartbroken, and since then, I just couldn't trust anyone around me. What made it worse was that Mom started dating soon after, and she had the worst taste in men. This one time, Mom invited her boyfriend over, and he ended up stealing all her jewelry. Another time, she introduced me to this guy who was arrested a week later for robbing a bank. So yeah, my home life was a mess, but at least I had school. I was a good student who loved writing poetry, and by the time I was 16, I was writing poems for a small publication and also leading the school newspaper. Life was good until this new guy, Xander, joined my class. At first, he didn't bother me at all, and always had this permanent frown plastered on his face. He hardly spoke to anyone in class, and a few times he was rude to the teacher and got sent to detention. Then one day in the gym, I was sitting on the bleachers when this ball came flying out of nowhere and hit me in the head. Ow, watch it, morons, I could have died.
But you didn't. And you're in a gym class. We're supposed to play here, not sit in a corner and sulk over a notebook. Now give me that ball.
Apologize first.
Bite me.
With that, Xander snatched the ball from my hand. I was so mad, I charged after him to give him a piece of my mind. But instead, I tripped and fell right into Rod's arms. He was my senior and the captain of the football team. I'm sorry, I just lost my balance.
And I think I lost my heart. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Sure about that? You could have a concussion. You know, we've never had a chance to talk, but I think we'll have a pretty good conversation. How about we find that out over dinner?
I don't eat dinner.
Coffee?
Nope.
Water then?
I'm late for class, but thanks for the help. And I just quickly left before Rod saw my knees shaking. I knew most girls would kill for a date with him, but all men were jerks. He sends me cakes in class and notes in my locker. And one time, he even climbed up my window. I was trying to find a way to get rid of him when my mother walked into my room.
That boy looks fancy.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not interested. He will break my heart like Dad broke yours.
And you don't know that. Not all men are the same. Now get dressed and go.
I reluctantly agreed to go out with Rod, and it wasn't so bad. He was cute and fun, and he took me to this cool pizza place. So I was wondering, you could date anyone. Why me?
'Cause you're smart, and I've never dated smart girls before.
Did you just call me a nerd?
No, I called you a pretty nerd.
You're sweet. Unlike that rude Xander, he's such a brat. You'd know him. Actually, he's on the football team.
Xander has always had temper issues. If I were you, I'd stay away from him. Anyway, let's not spoil our date by talking about him and concentrate on more important things, like me.
We ended up talking some more before Rod dropped me home, and soon after we started dating. School was twice as fun with Rod around. We'd have lunch together, and Rod would take me to these amazing parties, and things were going well. But then one day, I walked into my class and saw Xander bullying a student. I barged in and pushed Xander off.
What's your problem, weirdo? Just mind your own business.
I will when you stop treating people like trash.
I was just asking some questions about chemistry.
I'm not blind or stupid. Just get away from this poor guy or...
Or what? You'll hit me, princess?
Xander inched closer and I could feel his breath on my face. I wanted to move, but I just felt numb. And seconds later, the teacher walked in and we all went back to our seats. I tried to ignore Xander after that, but I guess luck wasn't on my side, because a week later, I was picking up a cake for Mom's birthday at the local cafe, when someone tapped on my shoulder.
May I take your order? May you? I don't remember the last time I turned around and didn't see your face.
I don't like looking at your face either.
It doesn't look like that. In fact, it looks like you're stalking me.
Excuse me. But before I could get another word out, my stomach made a loud rumbling noise. Xander's face softened and he smiled.
Looks like someone's starving.
I'm fine.
Just come with me, you can be angry while you eat.
I wanted to say no, but my stomach made another really loud sound. Xander took me to the back kitchen and quickly fixed me a sandwich. As I gulped it down, a cat crawled in and Xander filled a bowl of milk for it. I watched him play with the cat, and he looked so calm and peaceful and really cute.
If you keep staring like that, I'll get uncomfortable.
Thank you. You're good. I mean, the sandwich is good.
It's my specialty, my mom taught me, and you're staring again.
Sorry, I was just wondering. You're rude to teachers, you barely have friends, and you pretend like you're mean, but you're actually soft. You're nothing like I imagined.
You're nothing like I imagined either. Meredith, why are you with Rod?
What do you mean?
I mean, he's not what he looks like. I know it's not my place, but I don't think he's right for you.
You're right. It's not your place. And why should I listen to you? You're literally the biggest bully in school. Just because you fixed me a sandwich doesn't mean you get to comment on my personal life.
You're taking this the wrong way.
I guess I was taking it the wrong way, but now everything is clear. Thanks for the sandwich and bye-bye. And with that, I just picked up my cake at the counter and left. But I couldn't stop thinking about what Xander had said, that Rod wasn't what he looked like. I wanted to talk to Rod about it the next day in school, but he was absent. I tried calling him, but his phone was reachable, so I decided to go to his place. I was at the gate when suddenly I saw Rod screaming at some woman.
What do you mean you can't do the job anymore? Tell Xander that I still have the video proof, and I will send him to jail if he doesn't get me what I asked for.
But he's already done so much for you. Please, sir, we are poor and vulnerable, but you're rich and kind. Please understand.
Don't touch me, you filthy woman! And just tell your son that if he doesn't deliver the papers by tonight, I will show the video to my dad and have him arrested.
The poor woman fell to the ground while he just smirked and walked away. I quickly helped her up. But before I could ask anything, she started crying and ran away. What happened? Xander's mother knew Rod, and from what I heard, Rod had some videos he used to blackmail Xander. What is this video and what documents is Xander delivering? I wanted to get to the bottom of everything, so I waited all evening outside Xander's coffee shop where he worked and followed him. To my surprise, he parked his bike outside Rod's house. Xander opened the door and jumped in, and saw Xander throw a large envelope in Rod's face.
These are all the exam papers you wanted. We're done, and one more thing. If you ever touch my mom again, I swear I will bury you alive.
Don't be so mad, pretty boy. Also, we're far from done. You still have to write me that essay for my college application. Make sure it's perfect, or you know what I can do, don't you?
I've already done everything I can, Rod. Just quit torturing me.
It's nothing to what you'll go through in jail. All I need to do is make one phone call and tell the police how you stole from my dad.
Rod smirked at Xander in the most evil way, moving closer and spitting in his face. Xander lost it and hot Rod, and the two of them got into a huge fight. I wanted to do something, but before I could, the basement door I was leaning on broke, and I dropped to the floor. Thankfully, it wasn't too high, or I would have ended up breaking my bones. Both Xander and Rod looked at me in shock as I got up.
Elizabeth, oh my God, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Step away from her. She's my girlfriend.
You bet I will.
Rod tried hitting Xander again, but this time I got in the way and pushed him away. Don't hurt him.
Why are you so worried about this worm? You like him, don't you? I dated you even though you're way beneath me. You should be thanking me, but instead you're choosing him.
I'm not choosing anyone, but I do know now that I don't want to be with a psychopath like you. Rod turned to me with crazy eyes, and I thought he was about to hit me when suddenly his dad barged in.
What is this mess? Xander, what are you doing here?
Dad, Xander is a robber. Do you remember losing money? It was Xander who took it. See? I have proof. Everything was recorded on camera.
Rod's dad looked at Xander in shock as Rod showed him the whole video, and then Xander explained the whole story. Apparently, his mom worked with Rod's family as a housekeeper, and he and his little sister grew up with Rod's family.
Last year, my sister was expecting cancer. We really need a lot of money for treatment, but Mom doesn't have it. So today, when the whole family was away, I suddenly broke in and robbed my friend of his money. But Rod found out, and since then he's had huge I put money on his college applications. He told me that you will disqualify him if he does not get into a good university. Sir, I didn't want to go to jail, so I answered as he said, but Rod's demands never stopped.
Xander broke down in tears, and I felt so bad for him. Thankfully, Rod's dad understood and forgave Xander and said he wouldn't press charges. Rod lost his mind and started throwing things like a maniac, but his father called him insecure, so they pulled Rod away. Xander helped me out and called a car for me. We waited when he finally spoke.
Elizabeth, I've never said this before because you were with Rod, but I really like you. I always have.
You're a good guy, Xander, but I can't be with someone I can't trust. You should have just told Rod Dad the truth.
I know I was a coward, but I felt I didn't have a choice.
You always have a choice. You had the choice of being honest.
Elizabeth, I
want to go. Saying that, I slid into the cab and left, leaving Xander alone. I didn't hear from Rod again, but Xander tried calling me 1,000,000 times, and I ignored him. I didn't even want to go to school and felt totally lost. I guess Mom saw that because one night she walked into my room and asked me what happened.
I loved your father, and I know you did too. He suffered some hard knocks and didn't deal well with it. And it hurt us. But that doesn't mean everyone else will be the same. Well, Rod turned out to be crazy.
And what if Xander is dishonest again?
Look, he shouldn't have stolen from Rod's dad, but he did it for his family, not out of some greed. And that says something about him. Go talk to him.
I hugged Mom and rushed to the cafe Xander worked at, but he wasn't around. Luckily, the manager recognized me from before and handed me Xander's address. I went to his place and knocked, and seconds later, a cute little girl answered the door. Hey, is Xander around?
Nope, but you can wait. Your narrative, right? How did you know? Xander told me you were the prettiest girl he'd ever seen, and you are pretty.
I didn't say that. I said she's pretty, but she's the smartest girl I know.
I turned around and saw Xander behind me. He signaled his sister to leave, and then it was just him and I.
So what brings you here? I thought you didn't want to see me.
Xander. All my life I've hated my dad for breaking my trust. It's really difficult for me to open up to people. And dating someone like Rod, who turned out to be a complete psycho, messed up my mind. And I just needed some time to figure out my feelings.
And have you figured them out?
Well, kind of. But I need you to promise that you won't lie about anything to me.
I promise. Now, can I ask you out on a date?
Depends on how well you kiss.
Let's find out.
Hey friends, I'm Daisy from Betty, and this is my crazy story. Please like and subscribe. I was born to a single mom who was thrilled to see that I was a beautiful baby. Everyone at the hospital wanted a glimpse of me because my mom was a superstar ballet.
OMG, look at her eyes, just like her mom's. Gosh, her eyes, nose, lips, everything screams perfection.
Of course, she is my daughter. She can be nothing less than perfection.
Growing up, Mom wanted me to follow her footsteps and become a world-class ballet dancer. And I wanted that too. Watching Mom on the TV mesmerized me. When I was just 3, Mom hired the best coach for me, even built a dance studio in our villa. When I was 6, I won my first gold medal, and Mom made my routine even tougher. I had to wake up early and practice every day no matter what. I so hated the routine, and I wanted to be like normal kids. Have fun, have friends, and yeah, go to school. So on my 7th birthday, I asked Mom to send me to school, but she totally freaked out.
School? Gosh, among common people, never.
What? Fine, then I'll never ballet. By making me practice all the freaking time, you've already sucked the fun from it.
Saying that I threw the worst tantrum ever and ended up kicking the cake off the table. Well, Mom was pretty pissed, but I was as stubborn as she was, and I stood my ground. When I didn't practice for weeks, she had no choice but to cave in. I was pretty excited for school, but it wasn't exactly what I expected it to be. All my life, I was used to wearing shiny clothes and makeup. But when I entered the school, I felt all eyes on me. The staring and whispering really made me nervous. And I didn't even see a girl coming my way with a glass of slushie in her hand. And we both ended up bumping into each other.
Oh my god, I can't breathe. This jacket costs more than $4,000. You'll have to send it to France for dry cleaning.
Huh? This trash. Gosh, you're a rich snob, aren't you? You should thank me that I dropped slushy all over that ugly jacket. It really looks better now.
And then all the kids standing around us started to laugh. I just ran to the bathroom and washed my face and took off the shiny jacket. I so wanted to be normal. And my first day started off on the wrong foot. As for studies, I learned I had a lot of catching up to do. So I started working my butt off to be at the same level other kids were.
Come on, Betty. It's time to practice.
No, I have to figure out this math problem first.
What? That's why I was so against you going to school.
Seeing Mom lose her marbles, I had to leave my homework and practice. But the next day, when the teacher saw my notebook, she was furious and said I wasn't taking studying seriously. I was made to stand in a corner, and I so wanted to just magically disappear. Kids avoided me, and I was even called the Ice Princess just because I felt nervous talking to people. And they'd already decided I was a snob. When someone thought I was being rude, I was just struggling inside to say the right thing. Things were pretty much the same till high school. I'm dancing ballet and also studying, and because of the many breaks I had to take to compete, my studies were suffering. One time, I came back from school feeling angry because I'd gotten a C on a math test, and the moment I entered my bedroom, a crazy-looking girl hugged me.
Oh my god, stop it! Who are you and why are you in my room? Someone help me and get this crazy girl away!
But the girl just gave me a goofy smile and started saying something in a language I didn't understand. Who was she? Right then, my coach came running and moved the girl away from me.
I'm so sorry. This is my niece Gabriella from Spain. My sister sent her to me. She wants to become a ballet artist and she's kind of your fan.
Just fan? No. I am your greatest fan, you. You are like my idiot.
She means idol. Her English is not the best.
I then got to know that Gabriella was staying at our place with her aunt. But the next day, when I was getting ready to go to school, I was shocked to see Gabriella with a backpack. Turns out the coach had gotten her in the same school as me, and she was even in my class. Bummer. Because I knew how ruthless kids could be towards new students. The entire way to school, I kept telling her how I had her back.
If anyone messes with you, you tell me, and I'll tell the principal. Don't let anyone bully you.
The girl instantly grabbed my hand and started kissing it.
Oh, Betty, you're so kind. I love how you synthesize with me.
Synthesize? You mean sympathize?
Yes, that.
At school, I kept Gabriella with me. I was protecting her like a mother goose. I wasn't gonna let anyone make fun of her. But during our health education class, something bizarre happened. The teacher was giving us a lesson on how to rescue someone who might be drowning and seeing a dummy in the water. Gabriella just lost it.
I save her. Nobody panic. I got her.
But Gabriella, it's just a dummy.
No, Betty, you can't call people that word.
She then jumped in the water and dragged the dummy and performed CPR on it.
Don't you dare die on me. Don't you dare.
The whole thing looked like a scene from a movie. In the end, when Gabriella realized it was actually a dummy, she started laughing. But right then the teacher clapped, saying that she had never seen any kid take CPR lessons so seriously, and she was proud of her. What? I literally can't even. I soon realized I didn't need to worry about Gabriella at all, even though the girl seemed to have an IQ lower than a plant. All the teachers and kids loved her. And I just kept wondering how even worse it seemed like every guy in school had a crush on Gabriella. All the boys would be talking about how cute and funny she was. Every day when Gabriella opened her locker, chocolates and love notes would fall out.
Sometimes I think the school is Hogwarts.
Hogwarts? Why?
Every day I wish for chocolates and I get chocolates. Totally magical. Here, have some.
I didn't get why everyone liked her so much. One time, Gabriella and I were sitting in the cafeteria and having lunch when a guy came and sat next to me, making me so nervous that I couldn't even look up. He was the school's most handsome guy.
So I was wondering if you would like to go out with me this weekend.
I don't think so. I have to practice for a tournament. How about next week?
Oh, Betty, don't get so ahead of yourself. I would never want to date the Ice Princess. Gabriella, what do you say?
OMG, I felt so embarrassed. And when I realized that everyone was looking at me like I was some animal straight out of a zoo, I ran to the bathroom and locked myself in. I felt humiliated. A while later, I heard Gabriella knock, and right when I opened the door, she looked worried.
Oh, Betty, that was so rude of that jerk. Don't worry. I gave him a slap.
But why? It wasn't his fault. It was me being stupid. Why would I think anyone would like me? Everyone thinks I'm a snotty witch. They call me the Ice Princess. But why does everyone like you? How can I be more like you?
Gabriella smiled. Just stop caring. I know I appear dumb sometimes. Okay, maybe a lot of times. But I don't care what anyone says or thinks. Just be the awesome you. Her words warmed my heart and I hugged her. After that day, Gabriella and I started going out together. She would be with me at school and watch me practice on the ice. In a few weeks, I'm going on the biggest ballet adventure yet, and I'm quite excited about it. One time when I went to practice, I saw Gabriella dancing ballet and I was completely independent of her activities. So much so that I told her that she should compete too, and she seemed to like the idea.
Being on the same ice rink as my idol.
I couldn't help but smile. Gabriella was kinda adorable. But when Mom found out about Gabriella also participating, she went ballistic, saying how stupid I was to encourage my competition to be in the tournament. But I ignored her. Gabriella wasn't competition, she was my friend. But on the day of the tournament, something bizarre happened. Gabriella wore an exact replica of my costume.
What's this? You copied my design.
I was working on this costume for a week. We look like twins now.
It seemed odd, and when Gabriella performed, I was shocked because she wasn't just good, she was fabulous. So when it was my turn, I had to improvise and make my routine look more thrilling. When the marks were announced for the first round, I was in the first spot and Gabriella was second. But still, the press was running towards her, calling her a breakout star.
That girl! She used you. She acted all innocent and adorable. And look, she's stealing your limelight. I'm telling you, that girl is up to something, and you'll only realize it when it's too late. She's a backstabber.
My heart sank, hearing Mom's words. Perhaps she was right, but I had the second round of the tournament to worry about. Now, I went to change into my costume, and when I took it out of my bag, I saw it was torn from the middle. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And just then Gabriella came running towards me.
Who did this? I'll kill them. Huh? Don't act so innocent. I know it was you. Just go away.
Betty, I swear.
Just leave me alone. Mom was right about you. You stabbed me in the back.
But
Before she could say more, I lunged at her, and right then Mom walked into the locker room with some people.
See, this is your breakout star using unfair means to win. First she copied Betty costume and then destroyed her new one. And now she's attacking my daughter.
Well, Gabriella was disqualified right then. Thank God Mom came in right in time and she had an extra costume. So I was able to perform. In the end, I was one of 3 contestants selected for the final round. At home, Gabriella came to talk to me, but I slammed the door shut on her face. I didn't want to talk to a backstabber. Later, I woke up in the middle of the night to get some water and heard some sounds coming from Mom's room. She was talking to my coach.
You're fired. Pack up your things and get out. I hired you to make my daughter the best, not bring in a competition for her. If I hadn't taken matters into my own hands by ruining that dress, my Betty would have lost the title. Take this money and get lost.
She then wrote a check and threw it in my coach's face. What the heck? It was because of Mom that Gabriella was out of the competition. I felt horrible at that moment. I knew what I had to do. The next day, when Mom and I reached the stadium for the final round, I had a surprise for her! After the first contestant performed, it was my turn.
Are you ready? Yes. But are you sure? Never been more sure in my life. Show them what you got, bestie.
Saying that, I hugged Gabriella and took her to the stage. Watching her enter the stage at my place, Mom totally lost it and was running towards the organizers. But I stopped her and told her how I knew the truth.
You stupid girl, and laugh. You have to play dirty to get to the top. So what if I played a little dirty for you? But you blew your big chance.
I don't care. I choose to play fair.
I then ran to watch Gabriella perform, and she was breathtaking. When she was done, the audience threw roses at her, and I could see tears of joy in her eyes. And I was so happy for her. It was no shock when Gabriella was announced the winner of the competition. As she received the trophy, she took the mic.
This trophy was my dream, and I dedicate it to my idol, Betty. Thank you, Betty. Thank you for believing in me. Get over here, girl.
Betty and I waved at the crowd and then hugged. It was the sweetest victory ever.